Oh, the browser is... The window desynced, I think. Why is it not? There we go. Now it's back. All right, cool. We're ready to go. How's that for an intro?
Bam! We're here. I got the notification.
Fantastic.
There's a buzz on the table. We're live.
Excellent. Shall we... So what track is this?
This is 3 a.m. A track made on a 3-second decision, took 3 hours to make, and was uploaded at 3 in the morning, and it was third release in his series.
I want to
Lots of
know
three.
what separates a 3-second decision from a 2-second decision.
I think like a 2-second decision is like yes, and like a 3-second decision is like yep.
Fair
Just
enough.
like there's those two sort of conflicting things at work there. All right.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Night mode.
Yep. Very simple. Very like messy.
Fling.
Yeah, disorganized. Kind of feels everything just kind of happens at a very slow and languid pace, we shall say. Like none of it's like a deliberate slowness. You'll see deliberate slowness all the time, but this is like very plodding. Like, and I think the bass line works.
Yeah.
As well.
It. When I first saw this, my first impression was this was obviously made very quickly.
Yes.
And a lot of spur in the moment stuff. That's probably my favorite part is the bounce with the drums there.
Yeah. The little wiggle there, it's neat.
And then this is I don't know what to think of it as ending. It's like it just kind of is like, all right, we're done, I guess.
And it is 3 in the morning.
like how he goes on the line and then goes back on the line and then stops.
And then you expect him to...
Like I was expecting it to like keep going, and then it just goes like but it's not like there's no sync reason for doing that. But then it like zooms out and the track ends, and it's like, oh, it kind of was.
And there's the
planned or
beeping
something.
alarm clock.
Yeah. Do you want to just watch it again?
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to point out was early on it looks like there's like it's flat sled here obviously, but there's like some almost manuals here and there. Like that's kind of a manual, and then there's like that's like kind of a manual.
You gotta tell me when you're ready to hit the replay button. Or
Oh, sorry, I already did. 3, 2, 1, go. I just didn't count.
All right.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying was that it's like there's some flat sled, and then there's some like, is this flat sled? Is it a manual? Is it a failed manual? Is it a failed flat sled? Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
Which I think is maybe the point, if there is one.
I feel like everything. This has a lot of different characteristics of 3 a.m. in general.
How so?
That I think are very.
Besides night mode, obviously.
Besides night mode. So I told you about the sort of the ploddingness. Everything I feel like at 3 a.m. happens like very slowly and like not in the sense that you're doing it like in a deliberate way, just that you can be fully struggling at 3 a.m. to do stuff right, and it will still be really slow to an outside observer.
Yeah.
And this definitely has that feel like there's some things here that are... You feel like they're almost about to resolve it into some kind of coherence, but they don't.
Yeah, I think that's my main... You want to watch it in slow motion now?
Sure.
We don't have to listen to the alarm clock again. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. That's my main... What I was going to say is that's my main criticism of this track. Like, it's very spur of the moment, and that can be cool. and there's a few like cool moments that I like, and there's probably some moments that other people like, and there's lots of things to be like, oh, that was interesting. But overall, it feels like there's nothing to tie it together. There's nothing to pull things together. There's nothing that happens more than once. There's nothing that like, you know, literally or metaphorically like zooms out to reveal like a bigger picture. Not literally. Like, I guess it does literally do that. Metaphorically, like there's no like overarching theme. I'm trying to avoid using the word vision because, you know, people don't like that word in the line runner community. But like that's what I'm trying to say here. It's like I'm just like what you know, there's no like there doesn't feel like, and it feels like it's like there's an interesting idea and another interesting idea and another interesting idea. And I kept waiting for it to like be like, oh, I see what you're doing here, but it never did that. It was always like, and then it kind of just like it's like a bunch of ideas, and that makes sense because he made it in 3 hours and didn't think about it much before he made it, you know. And so maybe that was just it's an experiment of that to try that out, and I would say, you know, that's perfectly fine. But I'm the kind of person I like to see like an idea like taken and then like stretched and pulled apart and examined and deconstructed and put back together, and variations, and you know, you know, I've seen so many tracks that are just like, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's an idea, and then they're like kind of, it's like they expect you to be like, that was a cool idea, or they expect other people to like take those ideas and like elaborate on them or flesh them out. And it's so much more interesting when a track like takes one idea and like expands it and looks at it and examines it and plays with it, or you know, more than one idea. But it's like it's a difference between like, I don't know, throwing darts at a wall and like, I don't know what the other one would be. It's like, it feels like, you know, this approach is kind of like you're just throwing stuff and you're like, maybe this will stick, maybe this will stick, and you just try like a whole bunch of things, and then, you know, until you run out of ideas, and then you just stop. Whereas, what's a good example of a track that does the opposite? Rigor Mortis by Apple. That's a great example of a track that like takes an idea and it stretches it and plays with it and looks at it from all the different angles it can and tries lots of different variations on that same idea, which is something that I personally like more. Sorry, I'm rambling a lot. Go ahead.
I think the appeal for me is actually, I think it's very definitely intentional that this track is spur of the moment rambling, doesn't have a lot of good ideas, because I think it's a recreation of the feeling of being up at 3 a.m.
I mean, that's valid.
That's my interpretation. And so in that light, I see this as pretty brilliant, because it wanders and it explores some ideas, but like when it's 3 a.m.,
yeah,
often too tired to visually just, or even to like think about a single idea. You'll do an idea, you'll be like, oh, that'll be cool. And then your idea when you're at 3 a.m., you're always like, I'll think about it more in the morning.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think I can respond to that if you want.
Sure.
I think like that's totally valid, and that may very well be exactly what he was going for, in which case, you know, props to Helios. OTDE got exactly what you were going for. But I feel like I've seen so many tracks that do this unintentionally, that like, you know, it'd be like a track being like, I'm intentionally going to make a track that looks like 2008 Manuwork. And I'd be like, okay, but why? You know, like why intentionally make something that has already been, we've already seen a whole bunch of people do it without thinking about it, you know? And unless you're going to make some kind of commentary on what's been made before, or present something new that hasn't been made before, I have a hard time seeing the value. So I guess that's my response.
Part of me feels like the something to say that this track has is that a lot of tracks are inconsistent like this.
Well, if that's what it's saying, I don't think it says it very clearly.
Yeah. The narrative that I am choosing to personally draw from this is that it's a jab at a lot of other tracks that feel like they're made at 3 in the morning, and
Hmm.
by making a track that is like
See, I don't
intentionally
know if I buy that. I don't
that
know if anyone I don't know if anyone would see it that way if they weren't looking for a deeper meaning.
right, right,
I mean, to
uh,
me, I like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see that. I just look at it and I see a 3 second decision. He made a track in 3 hours, and that's that. Like that's the whole thing, you know.
that's probably what it is. Uh, but I will also say uh, that I think uh, when he made this track, he made it with uh, or I. This is more a larger point now, but I
Go
think
for it.
that it's so much more interesting when tracks like this one leave room for us to make these points. Uh, like so often you'll find most tracks that people make are like it's cool and it's synced to this. They don't have a larger point, but this one at least like it has that possibility. And I could just be doing that to justify the vagueness. Now that I think about it, but uh, I don't know. There's something about this that I find it to be different than a lot of the other uh, like stuff that's made sloppily. In that it was a choice. There's something about that choice that makes it ring different for me, and I don't know exactly if there's a good way for me to
So, in
articulate that.
context of Helios's other intentional work, this is strikingly sloppy, and therefore
Yeah.
makes you wonder if it was intentionally sloppy. Which
Yes.
I think that's what it was. I think it was, he sat down at 3 a.m. and was like, I'm gonna make a track that's just, a bunch of non sequitur throwing crap at the wall. Um, and I think it was, it strikes me as just, an experiment of like, what happens if I just, throw things out there and I try to make something new. Like everything I put out there is different than what was out there before, and I don't belabor it, and I don't try to plan it out, and I don't. Which maybe that's an interesting exercise. Maybe I could use some of that in in my work, but I don't know. It's that's it's an approach I've seen a lot of people do before. Is why I'm not as excited about this as you are.
Yeah. And that's not to say I'm really excited, but I do think like this is not a track I'd be like, make more of these, please. Like I wouldn't look at this and be like, this does some good things. Tighten up your manuals, make your flings stronger, and then you'll be good at making the track, right?
Yeah.
Like this is very much like I enjoy it as a one-off for what it is, uh, and like this is a concept I definitely believe. I think incoherency has been fully explored in well, okay. I think
Incoherency. But what if we made a
incoherent.
track that didn't have a theme?
Oh, so like all of the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so
You mean like
yeah,
90% of all tracks?
yeah,
That's basically my point in a nutshell.
yeah. So this isn't really saying anything new, but I think the perceived intention behind it does something a little different,
Yeah,
and
it's maybe.
it's an interesting one-off. I wouldn't personally explore it again, but that's up to HP if he wants to make 4 a.m. And oh, that would be
I mean,
interesting. 4.
honestly, like if people make tracks like, I mean, I guess I'm gonna watch most things, but I like mildly enjoyed this, and that's a pretty high like enjoyability versus hours of work. Like if you made a track in 3 hours, it was just like to a thing, without any plan, and it was kind of purposely just sort of a jumble, and I enjoyed it. And, you know, so if making things quickly to things without a plan, and where you just try out a whole bunch of ideas is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you know,
I haven't
I
watched
don't have
Inspiration,
like
for
that.
example.
I don't find that it's not difficult to watch. It's fun to watch.
Mhm.
I do feel like the danger with that approach is that generally people run out of ideas after a while. If you don't explore any ideas deeper and you just throw a whole bunch of ideas out, after a while you start being like, what else is there to do, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, there's something to be said for exploring an idea singularly and deeply. Uh,
It doesn't even have to be singularly, but just deeply, yeah. You can explore an idea deeply while also, you know, doing other things in the track at the same time.
yeah. So yeah, I think that's a solid summary.
Yeah, I think so.
We're 18 minutes in, 3 a.m. Good stuff. Not something I would explore constantly forever until the end of time, but hey, that's what we did in
I mean,
2008 through 2010.
I mean, for a you know, for 3 hours of work, I was surprised how enjoyable it was. So yeah,
Chuffed. Chuffed indeed. All
cool.
right.
I think that's that.
Excellent.
Thanks for watching. Whoever has watched this, bye.